The next change is to permit the use of photoluminescent exit signs as an alternative to the traditional exit sign. The decision to provide photoluminescent exit signs follows continuous inquiries about the use of the photoluminescent material as part of an alternative solution for wayfinding and exit signs, and increased international acceptance for the use of these types of signs. In the absence of the requirement of these materials in the VCA or a referenced Australian standard AS 2293.1, outcomes achieved by any alternative solution have the potential to significantly differ and therefore provide varying levels of safety. When developing the provisions for VCA 2014, the ABCB and its technical committees considered these overseas codes and approaches and established parameters considered relevant for the Australian buildings. To permit the use of photoluminescent exit signs, E 4.8 has been restructured to include a new subclause which requires a photoluminescent exit sign to comply with the new specification E 4.8. Specification E 4.8 requires photoluminescent exit signs to comply with the requirements of Section 6 and Appendix D of AS 2293.1, except where varied by specification E 4.8. The reference to AS 2293.1 has been retained for most aspects to ensure that there is some consistency in the design and installation of exit signs, regardless of the materials used. It's important to note that in addition to compliance with AS 2293.1, a new specification E 4.8 also requires a photoluminescent exit sign to have its performance varied in accordance with the new reference document ASTM E2073-10. This document is a testing document for determining the manufactured luminous levels of photoluminescent exit signs. Essentially, this new document details the method in which these signs must be tested. Clause 3 of specification deals with the illumination requirements for these signs. And it's the first instance where the requirements of AS 2293.1 are varied. Subclause A of Clause 3 requires a photoluminescent exit sign to be continuously charged by a dedicated light source. This light source must provide 100 lux at the face of the sign and have a colour temperature not less than 4,000 kelvins. These requirements ensure that the signs are adequately charged in the event of a power failure. Details on the colour temperature are usually found on the manufacturer's details. Subclause B of Clause 3 requires a photoluminescent exit sign to provide a minimum luminance of 30 millicandelas per metre squared for not less than 90 minutes. Verification of this performance is detailed in subclause C, which refers to the new reference document ASTM E2073.10, except that the illumination is varied to be 54 lux. This lux level is deliberately lower than the level of illumination required by subclause A and is intended to provide a factor of safety when using these signs. The ASTM document can be purchased through SAI Global. Clause 4 of specification E 4.8, specific requirements for the pictorial elements of photoluminescent exit signs, which has been informed by overseas codes. Essentially, these pictorial elements are the same as traditional exit signs, except the signs are required to have all the white elements replaced with a photoluminescent material and be 1.3 times larger than the exit sign, and have the border of the photoluminescent material that extends not less than 15 millimetres past or beyond the pictorial elements. So a current exit sign, one that you can see for 24 metres, is 340 by 160 for your normal illuminated exit sign, So these new ones will be 450 by 230, being 1.3 times larger. In addition to the enhanced pictorial elements of these signs, Clause 5 limits the positioning of these signs so the viewing distance to a sign does not exceed 24 metres. This varies the requirements of Clause 6.6 of AS 2293.1. Although AS 2293.1 does not contain any specific provisions for PL signs, it contains requirements at Clause 6.3, which states that externally illuminated exit signs can only be used in areas that are provided with means of exhausting or excluding smoke. Some may consider that a photoluminescent exit sign to be externally illuminated due to the requirements for the dedicated light to be provided to continuously charge the sign, and therefore that these signs must only be used in areas that have means for exhausting or excluding smoke. However, unlike traditional exit signs, externally illuminated exit signs, photoluminescent signs are only reliant on the light for charge and not brightness in emergency. Although in the event of a fire, performance requirements EP 2.2 requires an evacuation route to remain tenable for the period of time it takes for the occupants to evacuate. Consequently, Clause 6 in the new specification E4.8 states that Clause 6.3 of AS 2293.1 does not apply, which means that photoluminescent exit signs may be installed in all circumstances.